There is nothing in the world more scary than finishing up a brake job and forgetting to pump the brakes back up. Alright, we're moving on to the back of the car. We're going to get the rear brake caliper and pads and rotor and check the emergency brakes inside of the drum on the disc. So here's how we do it. On the back side of here we got two 13mm bolts, and then the caliper will come off, pads and everything. Should probably tap the pins out, get the pads out while this thing's still mounted. Just make your life a little bit easier rather than trying to do it on your lap, or possibly even just taking the thing off the car and working on it on a bench is the other alternative. For me, I'm just going to do it on the vehicle. Well, we got the rear pads out. These things are looking mighty thin as well. Nothing too good going on in the back of this thing. Probably original equipment, I'd imagine. Maybe replaced once in the entire lifetime of this vehicle, but can't complain. They serve their purpose, but these will not pass inspection in New York State. So, off to the glue factory. Some of you may cringe while you're watching this, but trust me, there are easier ways. There are better tools, but I don't have those tools, nor the time or energy to even bother go getting them at this point. So you can reset each of these pistons just using a gigantic pair of pliers like this one and slowly pressing the pistons back into the caliper. These should go back in pretty easy. You have to do them slowly, otherwise you'll pop a piston out on the other side of the caliper on the same side. If you do that, you may have a bad day. You may not have a bad day, but either way, you're not going to get the job done the way you want it to be done. So once you get these guys all the way pressed back into the caliper, you will be in way better shape than you were before you started. And now for the last one of these guys, just nice and gentle, press it right back into the caliper without pushing too hard, and there you go. You reset all four pistons on your brake caliper. Did the same thing with the front. Nothing out of the ordinary here, other than I don't have the special tool or the caliper piston reset tool. These are easy, these are tiny, no big deal. Now you got to clean up inside of here, make sure your slides are in good shape, get rid of any of the extra brake dust, and you'll be good to go. We finally got that stupid brake rotor off of there. It was giving us a little bit of a fight. The brake shoes got stuck on the proverbial rust lip on the inside of this brake disc. You can just kind of catch it in the right light. Real big problem up here in the rusty northeast. So now that we got that off there, check everything, make sure that all of our hardware is in good shape, nothing's out of place, no broken springs, everything's lubricated. So you're going to want to hit this over here. You really can't see it on the back side of here. This is a lever that's used by the emergency brake to spread the emergency brake shoes out into the drum. Make sure that stays lubricated. If it's seized up, you can take it off by disassembling this brake hardware, and then this will actually come separate from the cable by pulling it down, and it's got a little hook on the back side of it. So once you take that hook out of there, this will come out and you can move it around, free it up with a little bit of lubricant, penetrating oil, heat it up, whatever you got to do, because these things are, if my memory serves me correct, about $60 for that little adjuster. Do what you can to save it, otherwise you're going to be cashing yourself in for another $140 in extra parts that you probably don't need to buy. Now we'll get this thing back together and lube everything up. We'll take it out for a test drive. And everything's back together, looking pretty good this time. Now we gotta throw the wheel back on, pop the other side apart, put it back together. We'll get this thing back on the road. Then we move on to the inside of the car. You have to adjust the emergency brake. That way we don't get any odd scraping noises or weird activation of the brake. Once we get that all done, smooth sailing from here. And then, my friends, is all she wrote for this brake job. Back to the grind. Now we're going to get a little bit of bed in on these pads, adjust the emergency brake, and move on with our day. I really enjoy bringing you guys these videos, just to show you a couple of things that I learned over the years. Maybe make it easier in case no one's actually seen the work that needs to be done. I like to buy unique vehicles. I like to share a couple of stories along the way. I'll eventually get into that and stop putting out some of these more boring how-to videos and throw in some, general shooting the shit, awesome, more fun, some good, some bad stories, a little bit of verbal diarrhea every once in a while. But as far as this brake job goes, these are pretty straightforward, but I will tell you one thing. There is nothing in the world more scary than finishing up a brake job and forgetting to pump the brakes back up. Boy, that'll send you reeling faster than you can even blink. And I've experienced it firsthand a couple of times. Pulling a car out of the garage, didn't pump the brakes, go to hit the brakes, got no brakes. I've smashed a car before because I didn't pump the brakes up after doing a full brake job and went through a garage door. Not fun stuff, but you live, you learn. You fix your mistakes and you make sure that you never do it again. So there's always a lot of stuff that happens. There's always a lot of stuff that can happen, but more than anything, you gotta have fun. You gotta enjoy what you're doing. And I'll tell you what, there's nothing more fun sometimes than working on a car, just kind of getting away from it all, or just having a couple of beers, enjoying your friends. There's nothing in the world like it. Not to mention the fact that you get a little bit of burning rubber sometimes, a little bit of welding, a little bit of sparks. It's just fantastic. So, again, I thank you all for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. And again, as always, thanks for watching. Have a good time.